Well, hello there, Sagittarius. How are you? It's always so good to see you. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So, today we are going to take a look at what October has in store for you. So, let's jump into it. Let's see what is on the horizon. Okay, so you have Wasp Spirit. Sometimes life stings. And it's the number 64, and 6 plus 4 equals 10. This is the energy of the 10 of Swords. But what I'm hearing is it's time to be more of the 10 of Wands energy, okay? So this could be that you had a difficult last 10-year transit, okay, with that Pluto in Capricorn that was so detrimental to Sagittarians. So the last 10 years could have been difficult. It could be a difficult ending or endings that you have had within the last 10 years or the last 10 months. Let's put it that way too. This feels older energy to me. Okay, so there's a difficult ending or a difficult time period that you've been through, perhaps a whole decade, right? And it's time to allow yourself to turn the 10 of Swords into the 10 of Wands. Okay, sometimes in order to release past energies, we have to allow ourselves to kind of take baby steps with it. I feel like you've done a lot of healing here, right? But it's kind of like the energy of allowing the 10 of Swords to move to the 10 of Wands energy. 10 of Swords is you're still feeling the sting. The 10 of Wands is the energy of you're ready to drop the burden of the sting, okay? So this is a little bit of the energy of, the 10 of Swords might be you get the wound, okay? So let's say you get a scrape on your arm, a cut on your arm, okay? Moving to the 10 of Wands is perhaps a little bit of the energy of, putting a Band-Aid on it, right? Allowing the Band-Aid to do the healing, but now it's time to allow yourself to let the Band-Aid off. It's time to allow yourself to move away from the energy of this difficult ending. I'm going to say that I'm recording this actually on the full moon in Aries, and Aries is a fellow fire sign for you. It is about recognizing that when we stew in the energy of the difficult times from the past, or even the difficult energy we're still holding on to, that 10 of Wands, you're holding on to the burden of the sting, right? The full moon in Aries may be helping you to kind of like let go of that burden so that you can start a new cycle. Literally asking yourself, what would life feel like? What would life look like if you allowed yourself to let go of the burden of carrying this weight, right? This is a little bit about being stuck in the victim mentality type of energy, right? The negative energy, having difficulty moving forward, seeing a different way of life because you still have this energy in your mindset in some way. And I'm thinking this full moon in Aries is helping you to clean it out, right? To embrace new beginnings. But to embrace new beginnings, we have to let the burden of the past drop. Yeah, crossing bridges. See, you're crossing bridges. It says time for healing, connecting, mending, and releasing. That's that 10 of Wands energy I was getting. It's time to release this. No longer allow yourself to hold on, especially if it's been at least 10 years, okay? And for some reason, it could even go back to 2010, okay? Pluto transited into Capricorn in 2008 and recently went into Aquarius. So it was a 16-year transit. I feel as though this is the energy of even going back to 2010 and asking yourself, have some of the mindsets, the behaviors that you are still holding on to, is that because of the painful experiences that you have had since 2010? But it's also about allowing yourself to see how those experiences have helped you grow, right? And also about allowing yourself to let go of them. They're no longer meant to be in your energy. It's time to allow yourself to let them go. But sometimes we want to hold on to it because it's our ego saying, yes, but staying in this energy of being the victim, or things aren't going to ever change for me, or whatever may be going through your mind at this time. It's almost like you're fighting the new beginning because there's something fearful about a new beginning. If you allow yourself to let go of the excuse, well, this difficult situation or a difficult 16 years or whatever it is, right? It's allowing yourself to say, well, if I let that go, right, what is possible for me? And then recognizing that your ego, your fears of experiencing something new can actually be holding you back from allowing yourself to let go of the pain of this. I'll have to admit, I'm a Gemini sun. So it's kind of like we're opposite signs, right? Which means we have actually a lot in common. And I can see how this that Pluto and Capricorn transit was the most difficult for Geminis and Sagittarians, right? So we have been through the ringer since 2008. And allowing yourself to recognize that sometimes we get stuck. And I can see that even in my own life. We get stuck in reminiscing about the past a little bit, or allowing it to hold us back, of being fearful of, having to go back over the same lessons, or, overly protecting ourselves. This is the energy. A new day has dawned. It's time to allow this burden to be dropped. Yeah, compassion. Having compassion, I think, for yourself. Perhaps that's what is needed at this time. And when we're going through those difficult transits, okay, 15, 16 years perhaps of difficulties, we, especially Sagittarians and Geminis, we can be in that energy of pulling up our bootstraps and just going on, right? Don't want to delve too much into the emotions, but maybe there is something here about allowing yourself to have a little bit of compassion for yourself, for your inner child, for what you have experienced. Perhaps if you haven't allowed yourself to do that while we're still in this full moon in Aries shadow period, which will be with us for the next couple of days, because especially we have some other planets transiting this energy, it's about allowing yourself to recognize that it's time to allow yourself to give yourself a big hug. Give your inner child a big hug. Say, you know what? That was difficult, but it's okay. You made it through, right? It's the energy of a new day is dawn. What would I like? And this is the number 12. So what would you like in the next 12 years to experience? Allowing yourself to give yourself a gentle hug, right? Allowing yourself to really embrace what you have experienced, but also embrace how strong you have been for the last 15 or 16 years. Really allowing yourself to love yourself for what you have endured, and then allowing yourself to say, okay, it's done. It's over. What do I want to look forward to in this next part of my life? Yes, because you're in intuition and manifestation. You're in a manifesting stage. You have a loving woman here. This is the Empress energy. What would you like to create for yourself, right? Perhaps even spending time in nature. Allowing yourself some time, see, she's in nature here too. Allowing yourself some time to recognize that you have done the healing. You have done the healing. It's kind of like allowing yourself to recognize that you have done the healing and it's okay to start living life again. Have you ever had an illness or an injury where you were really like laid up for some time? It's a little bit of that energy of being afraid to go out into the world again, right? I had this terrible fall while I was hiking a few years back, and I was really laid up for quite a long time. And I remember I broke some ribs, and I injured my eye, and then when it was time, I knew the healing was over, and the doctor gave me the okay to start kind of like getting out in the world again, right? I was a little bit petrified. I was like, well, are you sure the healing's done? It's almost like I had been in that healing phase. I literally was held up, right? Healing for 2 or 3 months. And then when I got the okay, you can go back out into the world and start living again, right? I was like, well, I don't know. I had gotten so used to being in the healing phase and so afraid in a way of falling and getting hurt again, right? That I was kind of like, I really had to allow myself to push myself into getting back out. Asking yourself, is there something that you're feeling at this time, right? Fear of getting back out there because you don't want to get hurt again. Allowing yourself to recognize that as long as you're holding on to that energy, it's going to be hard to really and truly manifest what it is that your heart truly desires, right? Allowing yourself to recognize that the energy that we're holding, the beliefs, the kind of the mindset, it prevents us from shining and opening our hearts to others, or allowing ourselves to go in the direction that our heart desires, whether that's in our career or relationship sector or just experiencing life. Yes, I feel like this is what you're looking forward to. You're wanting to manifest, but look at this. You have the flexible card, right? It's kind of like you're going back and forth. This is what I want, but I don't know if I really do. It's reminding me of this little bit of this crossing bridges, right? It's kind of like, well, I think I'm ready to move forward, but oh no, wait a minute. Let me go back and do some more healing. Oh no, wait a minute. I'm ready to move forward. No, I'm not sure, right? It's kind of like maybe you've been going back and forth on this bridge for some time. And if you're looking for permission to move forward into what it is that your heart truly desires, moving forward into what it is that you are wanting to manifest, this is the energy of the spirit coming in and giving you the permission. It's almost like the doctor's, approval. Okay, you're healed. You can go live life again, right? And you're kind of like, well, wait a minute. Am I really? Yeah, you really are. It's time to allow yourself to co-create, recognizing that it's time to get back into your Empress energy, allowing yourself to really let your momentum move forward. Almost like allowing yourself to step into that new energy of the new life that you want to create for yourself, even though it's not showing up in your reality yet. This is the energy of envisioning it, right? And really feeling it in your heart, getting out of your head and taking action steps to help yourself move forward. Just taking a baby step, right? You want to start a new business or something like that. It's about allowing yourself to take a baby step. What's a baby step you could take today? Maybe it's thinking the name of your business. Maybe it's researching competitors, right? Seeing who else is maybe doing something similar to what you're doing. Whatever it is, it's allowing yourself to get back out there again and not be in the hermit mode. You have the hermit energy here, right? You've gained the wisdom that you need to gain from this difficult transit. It's time to allow yourself to no longer hermit. It's time to allow yourself to recognize that when you commit in a balanced way to other people, situations, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, right? When you commit to it in a very balanced way, it's going to allow you to move forward very quickly. I also want to say, Sag, is that there is also the advice of the thinker. Okay, so this is the energy of recognizing especially with this full moon in Aries, sometimes we want to take action, but it is about taking action that is related to what it is that you are trying to manifest, okay? Understanding that you could have been, while you're kind of going back and forth on this bridge, right? You could have been a little bit in, I'm taking action, but is your action linked? Is it directly linked to what it is that you're trying to manifest? Or are you taking action that is really just busy work? Okay? Allowing yourself to really focus on where your time, your energy, your love, your resources are going, and asking yourself, are they directly committed to what you're trying to manifest? That's really kind of interesting, because with the thinker card, it also indicates that it's time to have a plan, right? Not just taking action to take action, but knowing the steps that you may need to take in order to move in the direction that you want to go in. Even if you don't know exactly where you're wanting to go, it's kind of like allowing yourself to think, okay, what's the next step? Right? Or what's the next 2 or 3 steps? If you don't know the whole thing, it's kind of like, okay, what are some steps that I can take? And then committing to that strategy, right? Not allowing yourself to flip-flop, because I feel like the flip-flopping is really because your inner ego is trying to convince you you're not ready to go out into the world. Spirit is saying, no, you really are. It's time to come out of this hermit energy. You've learned everything you were meant to learn. You've done the healing that you needed to do in order to go back out into the world. It is a little bit of that energy of recognizing that, when we've had a cut on our arm or something, and we put a Band-Aid on it, and then we take the Band-Aid off, there's a scab there, right? You may be thinking that the scab from this difficult transit or towers or situations in your life that were disappointing, that the scabs need to heal and be gone, invisible, before you can go out in the world. Recognizing that what you've been through may stay with you, but not in a negative way. If you allow yourself to recognize that you have gained a lot of insight and wisdom through that difficult transit. It's kind of like, I have a good friend in my neighborhood, and she had knee surgery. She had to have her knee actually replaced, and she has a big scar on her knee, right? And she was a little bit lamenting about, I'm going to have this scar for the rest of my life or whatever. But she did say, I may have this scar, but I can move more freely now, right? I have more mobility. And she's like, every time I look at this scar, I realize that I can either look at it negatively as, oh, look at this scar on my leg that's never going to go away, right? Or I can look at it as, this is a reminder, right, of the lack of mobility that I had before and how much more freely I can move. Perhaps there's something there about allowing yourself to recognize that what you've been through, if there's a scar, right, about allowing yourself to recognize there's 2 different ways to look at that scar. And one of them is to allow yourself to see how it has helped you to gain insight, wisdom, and freedom in some way, right? Allowing yourself to move forward, knowing that all of that occurred for your highest good. Let's clarify. I want to clarify this. Yeah, you're just holding. You're holding yourself back. It's time to allow yourself to have peace with what has occurred in the past and look at the blessing of it, because you have the 4 of Pentacles and the 9 of Wands. You're just holding yourself back, perhaps out of a fear of getting hurt again or something. Reassess what it is that you want in life now. Yeah, you have started a new chapter. What is it that you would like to experience now? And then allowing yourself to create a plan for that new world, that new life, right? And allowing yourself to commit to it, right? And when the negative energies or the thoughts of the past creep back in, allow yourself to reframe it. Allow yourself to say, I've put that to the past, that I'm over that. I've crossed the bridge. I am no longer allowing myself to just stay in no man's land. This is a little bit of no man's land, right? I'm no longer allowing myself to stay there. I'm no longer wondering what I could have done different in the past. I'm done with that. Because there is a little bit with this energy of analysis, paralysis through analysis, right? Just allowing yourself to ruminate over and over again about the past. Perhaps trying to not allow yourself to think or talk about the past. Try for a week, try for a day, right? It's kind of like, okay, when those energies pop back into your mind, allowing yourself to be committed to your future by allowing yourself to say, that's in the past. I am a new person. I have healed from the past, and I'm ready to embrace the beautiful new energies of the present and the future, right? Allowing yourself to do that. Have you ever been around somebody that just talks about the past all the time and not in a good way, right? It's kind of like, wow, okay, time to move forward. Allowing ourselves to recognize that it's important for us to process those feelings, those emotions, but it's also important to not get stuck in that. Right. It's about allowing ourselves to look forward to what we want to experience, to putting our time, our energy into what it is that we want to experience, and not put our time and energy into what we have experienced. Beautiful, beautiful energy. I'm actually resonating with this myself. Okay, so let's pull a soul truth card for you. And Sag, I do personal readings. So if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you. All right, who am I ready to forgive? This is like, it really is. A little bit about allowing yourself to recognize you may have worked really hard on forgiving everyone else that was in this scenario, okay, that may have hurt you. Now it may be time to allow yourself to forgive yourself, okay? Part of the process, a lot of times we can be very quick to forgive others. We may not forget, but we can forgive, right? But it also is about allowing ourselves to forgive ourselves, especially if you're feeling like you've been stuck for a while. It's about having compassion for others, but also having compassion for ourselves for what we have experienced, right? Of giving ourselves that hug and allowing ourselves to move forward. Yeah, I am not what happened to me. I am who I choose to become, right? Write a forgiveness letter, then practice the Ho'oponopono prayer today while thinking of the person you are ready to forgive. And the 4 lines of the Ho'oponopono prayer, I love it, is I love you, I am sorry, please forgive me, and thank you, okay? And take each one of those lines and just really write it out to the person, anybody that you are leaving in the past, right? And also to yourself. Why do you love yourself, right? What are you sorry? How you have perhaps not really respected or loved yourself or your inner child, right? How have you abandoned yourself in the process of trying to please others, right? And then please forgive me and thank you. And it says, is it time to let go, forgive, and move onward? Is your soul ready to forgive someone else or yourself? Forgiveness brings sweet release, freedom, and insight. Who do you want to become, and how is this resistance holding you from what your soul wants? Yeah, the message has been really clear here, Sagittarius. It's time to allow yourself to let go of what has occurred in the past and really and truly embracing what you really desire. Look, you are ready to co-create with spirit, right? Allowing your intuition, your manifestation skills to help create the new chapter in your life. That is here. That is here. And you know, your birthday is coming up soon. We're only a couple of months away from your birthday. So really kind of like allowing yourself for the next, you know, like 6 weeks or so to really kind of think about when your birthday comes around, what is it that you would like for this next year to bring you, right? What would you like to experience? Focusing on that, making a plan and committing to it, committing to your future self and allowing your past self, giving it a big hug, say thank you for getting me this far on my path, and then allowing yourself to move forward. All right, Sag, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate all of your support by liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I hope to see you again really soon. Bye for now.